Oh, my computer's struggling today. Hello, everybody. Welcome in. My computer's been complaining at me today. I got all my stuff set up ready for stream, and then I tried to open OBS, and my computer died, so I had to restart it. Somehow I wasn't late, but well, good. I hope everyone's having a good day. I'm very sleepy today. I'm very sleepy. It's a very sleepy kind of day. Yesterday was very tiring, but it was fun. I had a good time yesterday. I've been playing a lot of Sonic Crossworlds in my off time. It's really fun. I may be playing a little bit too much. Unless we play as Hatsune Miku though. And it's not Fortnite. Having a day where you're not gonna go to source to use the dishes while the dishwasher is still going unless you have to remove arms? Oh, okay. I mean, you could remove someone's arms. Please don't steal my blowhigh. My blowhigh doesn't have arms. Oh, I'm very sleepy. I want to drink some tea. I was wondering if I was gonna stream today. This might be a short one, we'll see. I've been wary of pushing myself too hard. Because I have some flavor of chronic fatigue. Hi Joy, welcome in. I have some flavor of chronic fatigue. And that kind of like, that can kind of like spike up and down. And when it spikes, I get really, really tired. There's definitely a bit of it going on today, but it's not as bad as it has been. And I'm always wary of pushing myself too hard when the chronic fatigue is flaring up a bit. Because there's been times when I've done that, and it's not pretty. I've ended up like seriously hallucinating when that happens, so I try to avoid it. I try to avoid it where I can. Hugs and pats for comfort, thank you, I appreciate it. But I already cancelled the stream on Monday. I want to hang out, so you do try to make sure you rest. Yes, you do. I think that crashed YouTube Studio. Thank you, Orchid. There we go. Hey, pups. Bounce to rest timeline. Dragon Head Pat's too powerful? Yeah, my computer's been struggling today, so I'm not too surprised. Thank you for the glasses. Weirdly, the glasses are fine because they're actually built onto the model, so they're already loaded. I do apparently need those. Welcome in, Orchid. And Marshall. Welcome in, Marshall, too. It's good to see you both. I'm planning to just chill in FF14 today, probably just run some trusts or some other stuff. I don't know what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna just chill. Best cute? Heck yeah. You experienced one of the coolest things in a video game? Tell me about it. What did you experience? What is it that you've done? I'm interested. I've experienced some pretty cool moments in video games. And I'm interested to hear what you say is the best one. Television Rules the Nation live from Live 2007 in a full in-game experience. I have no idea what half those words mean. Daft Punk. I never really got into Daft Punk. This wasn't really on my radar. But that sounds awesome. Speaking of in-game experiences. Oh, in Fourth North, AC. Neat. I was just thinking, my VR chat model is finally done. And I'm very excited about it. I don't know what I'm going to do with it yet, but I have a VR chat model now. I'm very excited about it. Yeah, I got a model made in VR chat. It took a while. It was supposed to be, initially was supposed to be done in February, but there were a lot of tweaks that needed to be made. But it's finally done, and I'm very excited. VR streams? Maybe. There's the possibility of VR streams. I'm a little wary of it because so one of the big problems that I've had with my VR chat model in VR chat, it's very small, which is great. I love it being very small. That's the point. I'm very small, but everyone in VR chat moves at the same speed. So if you're very, very small, you just zoom in constantly, and there's no way to change that. I looked really hard. There's no way to change it. I can scale up, yeah, but that's no fun. What's the point? The point is it's very small. I did get myself like a flying module, which does help a bit, because I'm not like zooming right across the ground. It does give me a little bit of motion sickness. So I'm a little wary about doing the... That's exactly what I put on it, actually. I put Go Go Loco Beyond on it. It doesn't work super well, but it does help. If I enable the flying mode, I just gotta slowly descend towards the ground, and I don't know how to turn that off. It's very annoying. It's not perfect, but it's fun. It is fun. But I don't know if I could do like a long VR stream. It'd have to be only for like an hour or something. And then I also have to be a little bit careful about streaming VR chat, because weird things happen in VR chat. My model lagging slightly. Is my model lagging? It looks like my model might be lagging. No, it looks okay now. I hope my PC holds up, because it's been having some problems over the last couple of days. Look all good? Okay. Seems okay at the moment? Right. We'll see what happens when I get into the video game. Downloaded VR chat for a bit and realized there's literally no point in you having it. Yeah. I have some friends who play it sometimes, and it'd be nice to like hang out with people. And I do like being very small. Sleepy. Yeah, VR chat, no VR. It took me a while to find a VR chat, like a VR headset that I liked. Because I was adamant I didn't want to get a Quest. Because I don't like giving Meta my personal information, because to heck Zuckerberg, to put it mildly. So I really didn't want to get a Quest, but it's also like, it was very hard to find any other options that were affordable. And eventually, yeah, I did go with a Pico. I went with a Pico 4, then I got a refurb Pico 4, and it was quite cheap. Which was nice. I mean, it was still a VR headset price, but, like, not $1,000 price. Yeah, sadly, he's purely human. He's just very, very disconnected from reality. To the point where his actions seem alien. Pico 4 is the best contender to the Quest. Pico 4 is the best contender to the Quest. Yeah, it's pretty good. modals? I don't know what that is. I don't know what you mean by that. You don't... I'm confused. I'm confused. Oh, models. Oh, I'm just very tired and I can't read. Yeah. Yeah, getting, like, VR chat has a lot of, like, models that you can just kind of get, and there's the idea of, like, I think it is possible to, like, extract a model from something like FF14 and load that into VR chat. I think some people have done that. I know how to extract a model from FF14. I've done it once before. It was loud. How much did I pay for the Pico 4? It was like... I don't remember exactly. It was somewhere in the region of like £150 or something. Like, it wasn't a lot. It may have been 200. I don't remember. I got a refurbished one. Yeah, not bad at all, right? Model's likely not the hard bit. Yeah, like, what I was trying to say is, like, getting somebody to pay for rigging up extracting and rigging up a FF14 model is significantly cheaper than getting a custom model. Yeah, okay, let me just go into this for a second, since it's being in the chat. Squidzuff is right here that alien as a term is not one I like to apply to people like Zuckerberg. Primarily because it's important to recognize that the evils that people like Zuckerberg and other rich assholes enact on people are human things. It is important to remember that they are not... They are disconnected by circumstance rather than by nature. And I think it is important to remember that those are evils born of people and not separate from people, if that makes sense. There is also the history of the use of the term alien as a form of xenophobia. There's a lot of stuff to that, which is why I don't tend to use that, and I prefer to refer to Zuckerberg as the evils that he does. So yeah, it's complex, but you basically export out the game, extract the textures, and rebuild the shape. Yes, but there is some nuance to the rebuilding the textures and materials. Just call him Zuckerberg, yeah. So I've done an extract of my FF14 model once before. Hello, welcome in. And there is some nuance to it, because the material structure of Final Fantasy XIV is different from the standard PBR model that Blender uses. To the point that the textures aren't a one-to-one map. I think I did, I think I was back on Twitter, unfortunately. But I did go into detail about, how I reconstructed the materials. You have to do some, texture inversion and stuff like that. It's not too complicated, but it took me a bit to work it out. But I did get it working eventually. Can't talk around on the stream much because it cries, break things. Well, I'd say it's not... So... For the sake of, I'm not going to go into, any specifics. Only that, for the sake of personal use, the model exists on my computer already. Pulling out the files is not too complicated. It just requires some programs, which I'm not going to talk about. Or, manual hacking, which I'm also not going to talk about. Rebuilding the like materials is totally fine though. I can go into that if I remember how to do it, which I don't, so it's okay. I'm not gonna lie, I really love the term fuckerberg. We're good people, we promise. Quite, yeah, like, there's a reason they specified. Yeah, I got the files from Walmart. There's a reason they specified for personal use, right? It's not using third-party tools attached to the program. That's not how this works. Which is what is against the Final Fantasy XIV Terms of Service. It's not doing that. I'm not doing that. I don't have mods installed on my game. I don't use like I know of some things that exist, but I'm not gonna talk about them because like, for one, I don't use them, and for another, it's like, why would I talk about it? I got the files from a guy in an alleyway behind Walmart. Alright, I'm gonna pop us over to the videos game, and we can. I have an uncle at Swag gives the yeah. My dad works at Nintendo. You got my bits from Kmart and VR chat. I was gonna try and do a kit bash at one point for a model, but look, I don't have mods in my game. I am not telling a lie. I don't have mods installed in my game in FF14. I have no mods installed. I'm just gonna switch over to the videos game and we can get going with stuffs. And we can yap while I do things. Apparently I have company in my house now. Hi. In VR chat you always present fam, you feel like something turns it's very fluid. Totally fair. Yeah. I forgot I had this orc roll. Which one is this? Oh, right, yeah, this is the Sciences Inner's mix. This song rules. Oh, this is my house! Yeah, this is my house. Hold on, let me go and get my address. This is my personal house. I spent a long while after I got it decorating it, and I don't even remember how I did half of it. Oh jeez, my computer is struggling. This is my house. Yeah, my computer's really struggling right now. Give me a second. I think I need to shut some stuff down, because it's... Oh no, that's not good. Hold on, what the heck is global desktop? I'm not in Shirogane, no. I'm in, go in Microsoft Store, go in Game Assist. Go in Get Started, whatever that is. No, yeah, I'm in the Goblet. It's the, I don't remember what the area is now. Sorry for the muted audio at the moment. I am scrolling through the programs to try and... Not the Final Fantasy your brain hoped for, but it works. Oh, come in. Yeah, I've never played Final Fantasy Tactics, which I think as most people were, which that released like yesterday, right? I've not played it, but if I did, I would probably play the original because I really don't like the visual update for the new one. I don't like the visuals on it. Okay, is there anything else I can maybe trim out? The classics part of it, so you can do either. Yeah, but it doesn't have any of the DLC stuff, like the additional chapters or anything, as I understand it. Okay, that's looking a little better. Oh, little hiccup there. FF14, yeah. Ooh. I might have to disable my, oh geez, this is really struggling. It's a petite, yeah. I just rebooted my computer, I don't know why it's struggling. Well, we'll keep it going for now, and if I have to, I can turn down some of the... Chill? Jeez! It's a lot of, like, heavy machinery going down my street today. Alright. What were we yapping about? We were yapping about something. Oh wait, I got a new mount this morning. I think I might be ADHD and all up in the things. I got this earlier. That's right, I'm forklift certified. Can you have a personal house and have access to a free company house? Yes, absolutely. I'm forklift certified! Wait. My favorite thing about this mount is there is absolutely no way I could see over the steering wheel. There's no way I'm seeing where I'm going. This is in-game, but it is Dawn Trail content. You have to be caught up with Dawn Trail for this. FF14 is so fascinating to me as an outside tool. Not you're going to play, but watching is funny. It is really funny. I think this is still my favorite mount, though. This is my favorite one, for obvious reasons. You're in post-Heavenswood? Oh, you're making progress, then. Post-Heavenswood's really good. It sets up some stuff that pays off later. You don't have your hands on the steering wheel no matter what race you are? Wait, really? Let me stop spinning for a second, let me see. Ah, dang it. Why am I carrying a Lalafell? Because she needs to go where she needs- Oh yeah, you're right! Your hands are not on the steering wheel. Hi, Shock. Heavenswood was insanely cool, and the music? Yeah! Heavenswood rules! Heavenswood where the game really starts to take off. Like, I am a firm believer that A Realm Reborn is not bad. A lot of people will say, oh, the game gets good in Heavenswood, but no, A Realm Reborn is good. A Realm Reborn is still good. It's just, it's good. It's not outstanding. You're an ARR hater? I know you are. Welcome in. You will beat ARR, you believe? Yeah. You'll get there. It's a lot shorter than it used to be. Yeah, ARR is okay. Like, it's good for an MMO, right? Like, for what an MMO usually presents for its story, ARR is pretty solid. But once you get into Heavenswood, it's like, oh, this is just good for a Final Fantasy, right? Let me see, what other silly mounts do I have? I got my wheel. Nyom. It's gonna get dragged into another world by Potatoes FC when an update happens. Yeah, that's fair. Moving to where your friends are and making sure you join your FC is always a good time. That's the way to do it, right? If you want to hang out with some fun people while you're going through stuff. Only notable mount you have is your Shadow Wings. God, game on Unicycle, yeah. Oh, you have the Shadow Wings? I'm jealous. I don't have any of the wings. I don't have any of the cats either. I have every extreme mount before Endwalker, but I don't have any of the Endwalker ones. Or later. It's another... You trying to just to stop people sending you tells? Yeah. Trying to fucking... Fucky? No, that's not what that said. That's not what that said. Brain, why? Read, please. You find it funny that Shocky mentioned wanting to try out for 14 your FC leader just stole them? Yeah. No, don't, no. Jealous of your capybara. I've still gotta fight the snake one more time. You have to become fucky now? You can if you want. Orb. I have the ball. The capybara is bigger than me? Yeah, because I'm very small. Oh, I jumped off the cliff. Oh, yeah, I do have Fatter Cat. I do have Fatter Cat. Fatter Cat's description is horrifying. Let me read the description of Fatter Cat to you. For those who may not know, seeing as how this pussy can defy the very laws of physics by propelling itself high into the firmament, it's very likely the creature is either a void saint using a bloated cat's corpse as its corporeal vessel, or a deceased pet reanimated by one well versed in the necromantic arts. This is a dead cat that has been stuffed and reanimated. But it is also baby and must be protected. It's a cat of time, yes. I love how squishy it is. You said to buy the level 70 boost for class just so you can finish AR faster without having to grind? I'm not sure it'll make much of a difference, honestly. Because you're gonna be capped to level 50 for most stuff anyway. So getting extra levels is not gonna help, particularly. Where are you in ARR right now? Like, what's the last thing you did? Yeah, you get a lot of XP. If you're only running on one class, you get more than enough XP to stay ahead of MSQ. According to all known laws of aviation, there's no way a fatter cat should be able to fly. It doesn't have the wings to lift its fat little body off the ground. Okay, so you're in post ARR then. If you're doing if you've done Moggle Mog. Let me see. There's a little bit left to do, but you're definitely getting there. Yeah, you're definitely getting there. In the post-ARR patches. Yeah, like, that is definitely the bits that's the biggest slog, so I definitely feel you there. But you're also starting to get to the lead into Heavenswood, and the lead into Heavenswood is when the story starts getting really good. What's the last quest name? I believe it is Before the Dawn? That might be wrong. Let me check my journal. Wait, I have to actually go to complete. I believe it's Before the Dawn, but I might be incorrect on that. So that's... Okay, this is... Yeah, Before the Dawn, here you go. So you got a little bit to go, but you're definitely getting there. And it's definitely worth going through it. It is a bit of a slog, but it sets up a lot that is needed for like later expansions. Like this is part of the thing with FF14 that like Joker did a great video on it, right? I'm saying like why it took him 300 hours to get into FF14, and it was because he was just kind of like trying to get through the story and not really engaging with it. And the problem was he kind of just like didn't care about anything because he wasn't paying attention. And then when it got to the stuff when he was forced to like when he watched a friend play it and was forced to like slow down and watch someone playing through Shadowbringers, he was like, wait, this is really good? What the heck? And the thing is, The Realm Reborn has a lot that feels like filler and slog stuff, but a lot of what it's doing, particularly in the patches, is setting stuff up that is going to pay off later. It's basically all of A Realm Reborn's patches is putting up dominoes. That kind of feels like a slog, because there's no real, like, payoff, right? It's just kind of setting up dominoes. But it means they can knock all of those down later, and when they do, it's awesome! And I know that's not, like, okay. I am very much I'm very much a proponent of, like, if a game takes 100 hours to get good, then, that's probably a problem. Yeah, but I do think it is worth it in the case of FF14. I don't think A Realm Reborn is as bad as most people say. It is also a bit of a mess of pacing, you're not wrong. And yeah, the flight does help. Back when I did it, you couldn't fly in any of the A Realm Reborn areas at all. They added that in, like, Shadowbringers patches, I think? I think it was, like, 5.3 they added that. I'm just running around on my fat cat. But yeah, you used to not be able to fly in those areas, and then they added it later. Which is for the best, I think. There's my fancy cyberpunk motorbike. There it is. Nyom. You're stuck on Moon Moon? I'm sorry. You just want a Regalia? The Regalia is really good. It's a really good mount. I do have one somewhere. Where is it? It'll be at the end. Here it is. Remember when they added that and everyone just engulfed the area for areas and flying mounts for fun? Yeah. I'm sure they will rerun the FF15 event. Yeah. I'm sure they will rerun it. They've rerun it twice already. That was Japan Yen, yeah! There's a Yokai Watch event that they've run every little while. They haven't run it for a while, actually. But they run a Yokai Watch event every so often. They will rerun it, I'm sure, but they run one every so often. There's also this thing, and its Glovey equivalent. There's also like 1 billion Yokai Watch minions. There's like 1 billion Yokai Watch minions. Also some Nier Automata stuff. Because they've done a bunch of those crossovers too. And Fall Guys. Yeah, 2P! I don't know if you're aware, but there is a canon sequel to Nier Automata in FF14. It's one of the raid series. It's a canon sequel to Nier Automata. Just kind of buried in this. Because of course it is, because it's Yoko Taro. I can also get a pod to ride around on. I was disappointed they didn't give us a flight suit as a mount. 2P is not actually FF14 original. 2P. 2P is a weird one. So 2P's first appearance was in Soul Calibur. As the old costume for 2B. Yeah, the second player for 2B's outfit colors. And because people are like that, people started calling her 2P because she was the second player, but also was 2B, right? But then they just kind of took that and ran with it, and now she's actually a character in this. I love the Nier Raid series. They're really, really, really good. 2P or not 2P, yeah. There's a lot of fun mounts, honestly. I've got quite a few of them. I have 177 mounts. This spindle guy. I think ultimately the Nier raids are my favorite raid set. Yokotaro could bury Nia lore inside your PC parts and you never know? I mean, there is some Nia lore that is stuck as live-action stage performances in Japan. There is unique Nia lore that's only available in stage performances. Because of course there is. Nia lore is in your RAM, just download more. Yeah, just download more RAM. I'm sleepy. Yeah, who's Ram? Who's Ram? Maybe Nia lore is what's hogging my CPU? Oh, you're right! With the Gacha Killer Persona 5. Welcome in, Zach. Nice to see you. We're just running around. I'm just running around in circles and we're yapping about FF14. I'm gonna drink some tea. I'm thirsty. Oh hey, also, anyone been playing Monster Hunter lately? I'm not allowed to walk unmounted. Okay. I can't go into a dungeon for the next half hour then, so I guess we're yapping more. You gonna reset for the FF14 side of the crossover? Hells yeah! That's what I like to see. Yeah, it's Omega from Monster Hunter. Yeah, the cart is a really good mount, actually. I'm looking forward to getting to try out the Omega in Monster Hunter. I haven't got a chance to yet. I know it released like yesterday, but I haven't had a chance to fight it yet, and I'm looking forward to. Because apparently it's completely destroying the Monster Hunter player base. You're very tired and cozy in bed, so just fall asleep to the sound of Prologue. That's okay. That is very okay. If the sound of me yapping helps you sleep, then by all means. If they don't do something to celebrate FF15, you'll cry. It's almost 10 years old. Gods, really? I hadn't really thought about it, but yeah, it would be almost 10 years old, huh? Yikes. I should play with you, you totally won't kill you. Look. I know you will, but I'd still play it with you. Do you honk Shu or me? Personally, I do both. I honk Shu and me. You don't sleep? Oh, fair enough. That's okay then. I don't sleep as much as I should, honestly. I mean, I should sleep more. I got about 6 hours of sleep last night. I'm sure sleep on that thing. Oh, yay, that's... Well, let's get... Look, I considered pinning that. I considered pinning that message. I have 2 mods, but only one of them is here right now. I think. I should probably get some more mods though. It didn't seem like much of a problem when there were only like 3 people watching, but sometimes I need more people around. I need people around to help out. Yes, if you seep through the band to the sounds of Cute Fairy, okay, that's fair enough. No, but a humble squid, no mod powers. Look, I'll give you mod powers if you want them. You just gotta ask. Sometimes you're doing stuff at work. Yeah, exactly. Like, you're not always available. Fusion, I think, is the other mod, and she's not always available. So it's helpful to have a few people around so that when they can be around, or when they are around, there's, you know, somebody there to help out. Yeah, I have been told that the Omega fight in Monster Hunter does have Starboard Larbert, which is which makes me very happy, because I'm glad to see the Monster Hunter fandom has to suffer like we all did. There was a You're so happy to see people die to it? Yeah. There's a post I saw on Blue Sky the other day, I think it was yesterday actually, which just showed, which is just labeled history repeating itself, and showed the Google search history from back in 2017 and 2025 of the word Larbard, and seeing the uptick in people Googling what Larbard means. Which makes me very happy. I'm looking forward to fighting Omega. It should be a good time. Especially now that a lot of my issues with Monster Hunter Wilds appear to have been, like, ironed out. I had a lot of problems with it. I don't know if I can stream it because I don't think my computer's powerful enough. But when I first started playing, it was borderline unplayable because there was a lot of input lag. You got scared up by Wilds offering a benchmark test? Fair. And the benchmark test was very funny. But yeah, oh god, so what was... My brain, words. What was I gonna say? Oh yeah, I was having a lot of problems with Wilds because, like, there was a lot of input lag. It would eat a lot of my inputs. Everything was kind of really slow and awkward. Like, operating the menus, I would talk to an NPC and, like, the menu option would appear, but it wouldn't actually react to my, like, up and down inputs until a couple of seconds later. So it was, like, really difficult to navigate the menus because they were really sluggish. And it just made the whole game really awkward. Like, I'd be walking around and I'd have to mash the heal button several times to make it actually register that I wanted to heal. It was just a real nightmare. I got through the game, but it was a real slog. And I was not really enjoying it by the end. But I went back to it when Lagiacrus dropped, because I wanted to fight Lagiacrus again, because it was the poster child of my first Monster Hunter. So I wanted to give it a go, and it was so much smoother. You feel bad because you talk about this problems, you just couldn't see it because it was on console? Yeah, so apparently the PC port of Wilds was a mess. And there were a lot of problems that not everyone even experienced, but there were a lot of problems that just made the game an absolute nightmare. But they definitely did improve it after a while. You got a toned down level on that with Silksong. Turns out the Bluetooth controller was not happy. Ah. So, the controller I use for everything except FF14, which is the only time I use a Bluetooth controller. The controller I use in 8-Bit Do Ultimate, which is in pink, because of course it is. It's on brand. But the nice thing, there's a couple of nice things about the 8-Bit Do Ultimate, which is really good. The first of which, it's got Hall effect sticks, so it's never going to be subject to stick drift in the same way as other controllers. Which is really nice, because I bought it initially to serve as a replacement for the Switch Pro controller I was using for everything. Which had horrible stick drift after a while. And I still use a Switch Pro controller for FF14 just because of the low travel distance for the triggers. Because of the digital triggers, the travel distance for pressing them is really, really small. Which is really great when I have to like double tap really quickly like this. Because it's how I access my abilities in FF14. I have to like press the triggers. And it makes it a lot easier when it has a very low travel distance. So that's really nice. But for everything else, I use the 8-bit dual ultimate. The other nice thing about it is the ultimate specifically, it does support Bluetooth, and it has a USB-C port that so you can just plug it directly into the computer. But it also has a 2.4G receiver, which I have plugged into a USB hub next to me. So it has a 2.4G receiver, so it's not going through Bluetooth. You like the Switch 1 Pro controller? It works fine wired? Yeah, the Switch 1 Pro controller is a really, really nice controller. I'm using one right now. Just not with precise inputs Bluetooth. So, I'm not gonna walk. Let me see if I can... I don't want to do too much with this, but... I used to do a lot of VOD performance using this on a Bluetooth controller. I can't do it as well with a Bluetooth headset as well, because the delay between my inputs and the actually hearing it is just slightly too high. What was it again? No, it was. There we go. The delay between the inputs and hearing is just slightly too high to do anything complicated with it. But I can do some really precise stuff with this. To the point where I was starting to damage my D-pad on my old controller because I was really absolutely destroying it. Used to having having to use a Bluetooth adapter because this PC one doesn't have one innately. Oh wait, I'm not allowed to walk without being mounted. Hold up. I forgot about that. Well, I'll keep it going for another 2 minutes afterwards, so we'll do it for 32 minutes. It could be that. My last I had to replace my Bluetooth receiver recently because it stopped working properly. Anyway, I'm on a crab now. It stopped working properly, so I had to replace it, and they can vary quite a lot. There's also a point to be made that you don't want to use a Bluetooth adapter on a USB 3 socket. And that's the thing you might not think about, and because I did some research to find out what my Bluetooth adapter was, what was wrong with my Bluetooth adapter. And that is a thing. So Bluetooth, USB 3, has the higher data throughput and power output than USB 2, but it also has it has like a signal frequency going through it. And the signal frequency overlaps with Bluetooth. I think it's the idea. I don't know the specifics of it, but like there's a bit of a like power signal frequency that overlaps with Bluetooth in USB 3, I think. And so it can actually interfere if you have one too close to a Bluetooth receiver. So I've made sure to connect my Bluetooth receiver to a USB 2 socket on my computer. And I mean, if all you do is like plug a USB 2 extension cable into your USB 3 socket and then plug the adapter into that will work, I think. You just want to make sure there's physical distance between the USB 3 socket and the Bluetooth receiver, and that might help. I can't say it'll definitely fix it, but it might help. Oh wait, I got another one I like. I like this one. It's cute. I got a lot of cool mounts. I have been playing this game since 2017. You just gotta want me to cable and put up with it. Well, honestly, fair. Like, there's nothing wrong with a wired cable if you're happy with that. I only use the wireless stuff for convenience. Because I don't have to deal with the cables plugged in. For a long time, before I got my 8-bit dual ultimate, I used to use a wired Xbox 360 controller. Only have 94 mounts. I have 117, I think, so you're not too far behind me. I say I've been playing this game since 2017, and that is true, but there are points where I played it less. Like, I haven't been playing as much lately. I haven't been playing it as much lately. Mainly because it's, I don't know, I've had other stuff to play. I've been playing a lot of Sonic Crossworlds lately. I'm a little obsessed with it. But also just like... I talked about it a little the last time I streamed this. There's a lot about the game that has kind of shifted away from the stuff I enjoyed as much, I think. And I've kind of changed a bit as well, and it's... I don't know. I think the way I play the game now is different, and I think it's less enjoyable than it was when I first started. Game doesn't have Stone Cold Summoner, so I cry. Yeah. Like, the way I play through this game is at first I kind of just did whatever I felt like and didn't really feel stressed about anything. I just kind of did what I wanted. And a lot of the time that was just hang out in towns and chat with people. And I feel like it may not be that that doesn't really exist anymore, but I don't really do that as much anymore. I used to just like hang out socially in the game and not even do anything. I just like chill in Limsa Laminsa and chat with people and just hang out, play music, that kind of thing. Large chunks of UFC have got more burned out lately. Yeah, I've been burned out with it lately. It's I got burned out mid Shadowbringers too, because like once I got into Shadowbringers and started like actually like going through the Shadowbringers story, I got really involved in the game and like was really invested in it. So I started leveling all classes and trying to get everything up to max level and like really gunning for things. But by the time I did that and it got to like the about this time in the X-Pack actually, when the second normal raid tier was out, I kind of got burned out on FF14 and Shadowbringers. So I just sort of left it alone for 6 months. And then I came back to it refreshed. I feel like this burnout is a little bit longer. I burned out a little bit earlier in the X-Pack, and I'm still feeling a little burned out with it. I wonder what they're going to do for the next X-Pack. I'll keep playing it. I'm not going to stop playing FF14, but I just haven't been playing it as much lately. I've been mainly logging in for my weekly raid tiers, and honestly, I'm probably leaving my static. At least for the time being, after the current fight after we're done with the current fight. Because I'm just getting so burned out on the game. Oh heck, we got ads already? I've been yapping for a while. I haven't started the new part of the relic either, and I probably won't. I don't care enough. Yeah, food to go make? Go make food! I hope it's delicious foods. Been asked to make risotto? Oh, hells yeah! I discovered recently, on mention of risotto, that I may be intolerant to quinoa. I don't know why, but I tried a risotto that had some in it, and it made me very, very sick. I threw up, and I think I was just. It's not how you pronounce that. Well, heck you! I don't know how to pronounce it. I've never seen it. I've only seen it written down. Don't embarrass me. Quinoa. I don't care. Yeah, I don't. Quinoa. Yeah. Klonoa. Yeah, I ate Klonoa. That's why we haven't had Klonoa 3 yet. I ate him. I don't know how to pronounce things. I'm also very easily be. I hope we get Klonoa 3 sometime. I'm still kind of annoyed. Like, somebody pointed out the other day, because I was idly looking, because I've been playing a lot of Sonic Cross Worlds, right? And, that game is great. And one of the cool features of it is they've added in the extreme gear from Sonic Riders. And the Sonic Riders characters, so you can, like, ride around on your, like, magic floating skateboards. Which is apparently technology from the ancient Babylonians, because Sonic lore is nonsense. But yeah, that was really cool. I was really happy with that, because I loved Sonic Riders. I played it for the first time on stream a little bit ago, and it was great. But I was idly looking for mods for Sonic Cross World, and I found one that added Klonoa as a playable character with his surfboard. And somebody pointed out, like, that one of the DLC characters in Sonic Cross World is Pac-Man, who is owned by the same company. Why did they add Pac-Man and not Klonoa? Klonoa's perfect! He has his own surfboard! They could have given him his own extreme gear! But they added Pac-Man and Mega Man instead! Why? I want Klonoa in things rather than just Pac-Man. I want them to use Klonoa for more. If they actually cared about the franchise, maybe it would sell more. Like, if they actually, like, used Klonoa for more things, maybe the games would actually fucking sell. I apologize for the swear there, but I'm so mad at them. Namco, what are you doing? And yeah, they're adding Mega Man. Mega Man's not in there yet, but they're adding Mega Man and SpongeBob. And also, like, Joker and the guy from Yakuza? Hatsune Miku's already in the game, and I've been playing as her, and she's great. I love her. I don't know. I never played Yakuza, so I don't know. He's got, like, a red suit and frizzy hair. My favorite thing about playing as Hatsune Miku... Yeah, Joker and Yakuza on a Sega, so it makes sense, yeah. Like, it does make sense, it's just funny. But my favorite thing about playing as Hatsune Miku is that when you finish a race, and you get the kind of, like, post-race victory music, she sings along to it, which is really cute. It's really cute. And also, what I was not expecting is that there's a remix of music from Sonic R in one of the tracks. I was not expecting Sonic R to be referenced. One of the track's music pieces is just Supersonic Racing from Sonic R. Crossworlds feel like a fan game and it's great. I'm gonna say, Crossworlds absolutely feels like a fan game for better and worse. I was talking about this last night with some folks, but I love Sonic Cross Worlds. It's really fun. Controlling the carts is really, really entertaining, and it's a really great time. I have one major criticism of the game. The item pool sucks. The items make no sense. There are, like, several items that do exactly the same thing, or near as. Almost none of them have any real counterplay to them. Like, technically you can, like, block by having the right item, but that is the only way you're going to avoid things. And because of how they're structured, they don't provide any real time to actually, like, deal with that. Like, I think the comparison I was using was the red shell, the blue shell, right? Because in Mario Kart, you have the blue shell, right? And the blue shell has some interesting quirks to it. Is there any difference in item pool depending on position? Absolutely there is. but it's very weird. So allow me to explain an example with the blue shell and its equivalent in Sonic Cross Worlds. So we all know the blue shell. You throw it in Mario Kart, and it locks onto the person in first place, targets them, and then explodes, right? Sonic Cross Worlds has King Boom Boo, which is a really weird pick because it's just some random boss from Sonic Adventure 2. But he shows up, races to the front, and then drops some fire, like pillars of fire, at the person in first. And these can hit other races too. But there are some key differences to how the blue shell and King Boom Boo work. You can, both in Mario Kart and in Sonic Cross Worlds, you can block this by having the right item. In Mario Kart, you can block it with the horn. In Sonic Cross Worlds, you can block it with the invincibility shield. That's fine. I don't mind that. That's fine. However, there are two main differences. In Mario Kart, you can also dodge the blue shell in two other ways. And these are the main differences. The first is that you boost right as the shell comes down. And you have plenty of warning to prepare for that. First of all, you get a warning that the blue shell is approaching. Then you have a couple of seconds while it hovers above you, and then it slams down and explodes. The other way you can avoid the blue shell is by slamming on the brakes and dropping into second. If you drop into second, while the blue shell is still homing in on you before it starts hovering in front of you, it will switch targets to the person who is now in first. And that is really, really key. Sonic Cross Worlds gives you no warning that King Boom Boo is showing up. There is a little marker, but it appears for like less than half a second before he's on top of you. And once he's on top of you and like targeting you, nothing you do will change his target. In fact, I'm pretty sure he selects his target when the item is used, not when he actually ends up on the space. Which means that there's nothing you can do to make him target somebody else. He's going to hit you if you see him. The other thing is, you can't boost out of the way because he tracks your car perfectly. You changed. You can also add speed the blue shell on 200cc. Yes, you can. You cannot do that in Cross Worlds because it is one-to-one paired with your car. And it sucks because it means, like, a lot of the items are like this, where there's no real counterplay other than have the specific item. But also a lot of the warning markers for most of the items, despite needing different counterplay, are the same warning icons. You either have a generic target mark, or you have a warp ring appear in front of you, and they both look exactly the same. They all look exactly the same, so it's impossible to tell what you're about to be hit with until it's like right on top of you. The only thing that changes is if you have the counterplay item available already, it will give you a little button prompt to say use this item to defend yourself. Which kind of sucks, because that is just luck at that point. So I want to go into this a little bit more in detail, actually, because I'm kind of into this. Many years ago, I started making my own kart racer. I worked on a kart racer many years ago, and this was a Toho-themed kart racer, which I named Toho Kart. I made 3 stages and some AI. I never got further than having one character model and didn't really work very well. It was a little jank, the models were not very good, but it was fun enough. But I want to explain my design philosophy for making items, because I had a cool gimmick for the game. It was a very simple one. Much like Mario Kart, and much like specifically inspired by Crash Team Racing, once you got full power, functionality before aesthetics is usual practice, yeah. Once you stacked up 100 power points, which is basically your coins, your Wumpa Fruit, your rings, your power thing, which boosted your kart speed slightly. Once you maxed out on those, your item would change to an upgraded version of it. But the little quirk was that not only did each character have their own stat distribution, but they also had an item which was theirs. The items were all spell cards, and they were based on the spell cards from various characters as their appearances in the main games. So if the spell card the item was based on came from the character you were playing, then that is your item, and thus it will always be fully powered, regardless of how many power points you have. And it was just a nice, relatively cheap little gimmick that made each character feel a little unique. And it worked quite well. But my main design philosophy was to provide items with an interesting variety that had fun counterplay. And I want to talk a little bit about my equivalent of the blue shell that I came up with. And to again, like, contrast it with what I've just been talking about. My equivalent of the blue shell was the Yukari gap. For those who don't know Toho lore, there's a character called Yukari who has an ability to, like, open portals, which is like which are referred to as, like, the gaps, right? She opens portals and can just, like, teleport between places, right? So the idea behind this item was it would open a portal underneath the person in first place. And this would force them to void out and respawn. And that was my equivalent of the blue shell. Which, it's a bit more punishing than the blue shell, because the respawning is a thing. Although respawning's not as bad as it is in a lot of kart races, because you can get a starter boost off a respawn too, in that one. As well as just starting the race. So you don't necessarily lose all your speed. But the interesting thing about it was the counterplay for it. You're definitely more in the Toho music fan than the games a lot. I did actually have 3 original music tracks that were written for Toho Kart. I've lost them now, but they're probably in the original game files, actually, now I think about it. And I don't actually remember who wrote them, unfortunately, and I don't think I wrote it down anywhere. Which is very unfortunate. It was a very haphazard production. But, yeah, so the Yukari gap forced you to respawn. But there were a few ways I considered counterplay to this to make it more interesting. First of all, when you use the item, it appears closed underneath the person in first place, so they can see, hey, this is about to hit you. As long as the gap is closed, it will always drop to whoever is in first place. So if it's underneath you in first place and you slam on the brakes and go into second, it will immediately switch to the person in first place. Which, great, that's one bit of counterplay. Similar to Mario Kart, you can drop into second place to swap the target. The second one is that if you are invulnerable in any way, if you have like a shield or something, a shield item, the Yukari gap will bounce you up instead of dropping you through the floor. Which means you don't die to it, but you lose your shield or whatever it is defending you. I think actually it's just the shield that did it. There was a shield and like an invisibility and a less powerful shield. I don't remember which did what. It's been a while. But the third counterplay I think is the most interesting one. Which is that because the portal opens on the ground beneath you, and it only stays open for about a second or two, if you're in the air for the entire duration that the portal opens, it just misses. No, that's kind of hard to do. You have to have like a decent ramp to trick off, right? But it's not impossible. And your timing has to be immaculate. But it's not impossible. And so I kind of love that there's this like very high, like, there's a lot more RNG focused ones with like, you can either have the right item, or you can play it safe and drop into second, or you can do the really high skill play of making yourself trick off a ramp at exactly the right moment so that you don't get swallowed by the gap. And I think that made the item so much more fun, because the moment you see it, your response is not, oh heck, I'm being hit by an item. Your response is, oh heck, I've got options. What do I do here? Right? Because, like, if you're about to pick up an item, do you go for the gamble of picking up the shield? Or the item that can stop it? Maybe. If you're about to hit a ramp that you might be able to trick off, do you try and time it? Do you try and go for the really good play and like time it so you don't lose any speed? Or do you just play it safe and drop into second? Like, the fact that there are various options for counterplay makes it more fun to be hit by the item. Actually, more fun to be hit by the item than it is to use it. Weirdly. And that was like my philosophy for most of the game. It was just this whole idea of like, every item should have some way to counter it that you can work towards, other than just having the right item. Like, you're always going to get situations where someone just like drives right up next to you and throws a projectile at you, and there's no way you're going to get around that, right? But, like, even the homing item, right? That there's like a red shell equivalent, which is like a homing card. And the way I specifically made its homing effect not perfect, so that if you took a really, really, really tight corner, it would have to be really tight, it would have to be like really tight in, you could force it to crash into a wall. And I did that on purpose, because that makes it for a really like high risk, high reward edge case for like how to dodge it. And I think Sonic Crossworlds feels like it's missing that. There's not a lot of cases where you can like actually dodge attacks put against you. You just have to have the right item. And items are not super common either. They're all extremely like destructive. So they completely, if you're in the pack of items, you're just getting thrown around constantly. I think the items are the least fun part of Sonic Crossworlds. And it's a shame, because the actual driving is really fun. Like, I've been going through the time trials in Crossworlds, and those have been really interesting. Some of them are really hard, but I've been going through the time trials. I've managed to A-rank everything on supersonic speed, and I'm going through the sonic speed ones now, which is like the equivalent of 150cc, and supersonic speed is 200cc effectively. And I'm going through like all of the time trials. They're really tough. They're really tough. But they're a lot of fun. Processing I really want, but money, yeah. I only picked it up because I could get like a 25% off from a sale somehow. I hope you can get it somehow at some point, because it is a really fun game. I'm gonna actually do some trust runs, because I've just been here yapping for an hour and a half. Wait, I don't want to do that as you. Was it White Mage? Yes, it was White Mage. We're gonna do some trust runs. Hongshu? You need 20% more sale to consider. Exactly what I thought. Welcome in, Reki. Good to see you. Hongshu indeed. We've just been kind of yapping. Okay, I need... Not you. Who's my tank? Is it Graha? It is Graha. Oh, I can't bring Alphino in. Wait, maybe I don't go White Mage. Maybe I go DPS. What's my DPS looking like? Oh, I don't have a DPS I can take in. Never mind. Cutie arrived in chat. Yeah, everyone should call Reki cute, and you should all follow Reki. Reki's adorable. This is another reason I need more moderators. So I can give people shoutouts when I need to. Okay, I think we need to bring Graha.
I stand ever ready.
Alizé and Kryle, I think,
I
are the
won't
ones
let
we
you
need to
down.
bring. Yeah. Alright, we're going for Warcore Zormor. This dungeon's cool. I like this dungeon. You already followed Urinal Wolves? Heck yeah! Reki is a good bean. But yeah, I've been doing a lot of Crossworlds. It's been a lot of fun. I've been putting maybe too many hours into it. I have something like 26 hours in that game, and I only picked it up like 3 days ago. Well, I had it preload. I had it like before launch, but I only like actually like started playing it like 3 days ago. I need to get some regen on me. Raha, get some regen on you too. Also, have an ass size. Oh wait, hang on. I could just use Glare 4. I didn't realize I could do that. Okay. I have not been playing. I've not been playing White Mage enough. Your trust is stuck in Shadowbringers? Yeah. I've been making an effort to try and get my trust leveled up so that doesn't happen. Oh yeah, I should actually be healing, huh? Yeah, Crossworld's fun. This game seems like such an oversim to play sometimes. It's not as complicated as it looks, honestly. And it helps to like, it teaches you pretty slowly. So while there is a lot going on at any given moment, it's kind of all stuff you picked up over, like, slowly over time. Yeah, you get used to it after a while, exactly. Like, I'm playing at almost max level. Like, this is like the most complicated this class, like, gets, really. But you start off just being able to, like, hit things with a rock, and you throw rocks at people and then heal them. Complicated, mashing holy for 1 minute. Exactly. Like, it's not actually a complicated class to play. Yeah, White Mage is fun. I also get to do this. Big damage. Blood for the Blood Lily. Oversim includes visually. So, that's another thing you can do. Hold on, let me see if I can remember how to do this. Is that on graphic settings? Raha, stop dying. I think it's in graphic settings. No, that's movement physics. Character config. Yes, you're right. You know what I'm trying to do. Where is it? Character? Here we go. I can just do this. And now my effects don't show up. Basically, I have my effects turned reasonably high up because I like to watch all the pretty colors and the pretty lights. But you can turn off the effects separately for various people. So I actually have my party members' effects turned, like, toned down. There's like 3 levels. There's all the effects, limited effects, and no effects. I actually have limited effects turned on for, as you can see here, for my party I have limited effects. Which basically means I only actually see the full effects for my own attacks. Which is great, because it means I don't have to... I can see what I'm doing, but I'm not necessarily seeing what other... I'm not getting blinded by what other people are doing, if you see what I mean. But you can turn those all the way down if you want. And it really does, like, help clean up the visual style. It can be very overwhelming, I'm not gonna lie. Anyway, Giant Bunny. It's fine, I don't need to heal. It's all good. Benay! Okay, what are we doing here? Not moving yet. There we go. Oh, wait, no, I went to the wrong spot. Whoops. I'm not at my best, gamers. I did exactly the opposite of what the mechanic wanted me to. 2 of these are gonna get frozen. So we want to be inside the frozen ones. Then the other 2 are gonna go off, and then we can move. There's also the fact that, like, mechanically the game ramps up, too. So, like, it asks quite a lot of you by the time Dawn Trail rolls around. But before that, it's not really much of a... I mean, I can pat them. Pat, 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 pat. Okay, now we got all 8 of them. This one space is gonna be safe, and it's this one. Yeah, they usually cover you in snowballs and bad things happen, that is correct. Almost done with this one. Soft, cold, and the love is squished. Yeah. I don't actually need the gear from this, I'm not gonna bother picking it up. Myself a shield. Hey, Graha! There we go. We're fighting on stairs, apparently. Graha, can you not die, please? Thank you. Weirdly enough, this game's like not fight mechanically, but like the gameplay of each individual class, like the actual moment to moment of what you're doing in the game, has definitely got simpler over time. White Mage has always been pretty straightforward, but a lot of other classes have got a lot simpler, and I think that's kind of a shame. They've kind of like streamlined a lot of classes down to very, very basic things, and then counterbalanced it with not necessarily even more precise. What they've generally done is they've streamlined the actual gameplay of the classes and then upped the complexity of the fights. So you're not having to think so much about what you're doing, and you're having to think more about what the boss is doing, basically. I get healed. I said get healed. There we go. And I'm not sure how I feel about that. I think to a point there's a benefit to that, but here is this the spot? Not quite. I want to think about how I'm messing my buttons up. Yeah, like, there are a few classes that are still complicated enough that messing up is very possible, but usually it's only minor. Like, Bard still has so many buttons to press that it's still possible to mess that up. In a lot of small ways, which is great. I like that. And it's why I'm worried they're gonna change Bard. Dancer's in a weird spot right now. Yeah, so the main thing with Bard, to explain what the problem with Bard is right now, and why Bard is so unforgiving in a lot of ways, Bard has one ability which is called Imperial Arrow. An Imperial Arrow is a 15-second cooldown, off global cooldown, which means you can use it in between other stuff. And it is a 15 seconds, with no charges, so you don't get multiple uses of it like Thin Air over here, or Divine Venison. And the problem with it is it's vitally important to Bard's Kit. It gives you a free usage, it gives you a free proc of your songs, which have an 80% chance to proc every 3 seconds anyway, but it gives you a free extra one, which is like where most of Bard's benefit comes from. So it's really, really strong. The problem is, you have to use that every 15 seconds. And if you don't, if you miss it slightly, it puts the entire thing out of sync. And it's very, very easy to miss an Imperial Arrow. To a certain extent, most classes do. It's just if you want to synergize the other 7 people elsewhere down, you kind of have to do the specific order of things. You're not wrong. War is king. If you mess up, just heal and it's all good. So, there's some truth to that. It's kind of why I've been interested in watching, one of the reasons I've been interested specifically in Wrath's playthrough of the solo challenge, is that he's using War for precisely that reason, that it's very, very self-contained, right? But also, he's had to do some frame-perfect stuff with that, because to do stuff solo is really hard, actually. I mean, reason they went to meaning healer for Dontra is because if you mess up, everyone dies. Yeah. Can you not walk on me, please? Thank you. Or you let everyone explode for fun. Yeah. Gravity damage is pain. Yeah. But it's not even that. The main problem with Warrior is that it's a tank. Which, if you don't know, means it has a numerical damage nerf. Graha, my boy. Can you not stand on the healer, please? So all tanks deal, like, naturally, I think it's like 15% less damage than any other class. Just, they have like a nerf to their damage per potency, just naturally. And this causes a lot of problems when you get DPS checks and you're trying to play the game solo. Like, from what I remember, there's a certain dungeon at the end of Stormblood, which has a DPS check at the end, which was basically frame perfect. Oh heck! Don't attack Graha. Okay, we should be nearly good though. Hey girl, let me stand on you, thanks. Oh my god. Just simply crit. I mean, there have been points where Wrath has been relying on crit, on literal crit luck. It's kind of wild. I think his current wall is the final boss of Shadowbringer's base game right now. I think that's where he's at. That's where he was when I last checked. He's got pretty far. Can you stop dying, please? Oh yeah, I forgot I had Bubble. It's been a while since I played White Mage. I don't remember how to use Bubble. Thanks for reminding me I have a Bubble.
You underestimate me.
Okay. Level 4 is cool. I like it. Please stop dying. Okay. You always find it fun to watch other people heal? I'm not very good at healing. Graha? Thanks, Bessie. Wait, no, not that one. I want this one. It exploded. I feel like I was in the middle of a thought, just like saying something, and then I just completely forgot. My brain's not with it today, everybody. Can you try not dying, please? There we go. I'm very sleepy today. I know I've said that a lot already, but I'm very sleepy. Sleepy deepy.
Prove you are worthy to rule.
Okay, Graha is standing in the bubble, that's good.
Chronicles of Air. Recount the fury of erupting beaks.
Right, this is the, yeah, this is this thing. I remember. Get Afflatus Misery. Love to see the crit Afflatus Misery.
Chronicles of Air. Retell the hunger of roiling water. I will take the measure of your resolve.
We hit Groho with another heal here. I should really go. Yeah, that works.
Implacable strength of the mountain, be mine!
Oh right, balls. Look at them balls. Wait, why is nobody picking up these balls? Give me all these balls! I gotta touch the balls!
Of my brethren, your thunder roars!
Trust don't like more damage, yeah? I like more damage.
That you should endure my fury. Chronicles of Hell, record the cruelty of merciless lords.
I should have done this. There we go. Graha, why are you nearly dead? What is wrong with you? Why do you keep dying? Graha, why? Right, I remember now. That goes off at the same time as this one. Okay, yeah, I remember that. I'm remembering. Oh hey, at least Alizé waited for Limit Break 2. Almost got it. Yay, I leveled up! I got it a level. I don't need these. Get desynthesized. I'm not gonna lie though, this greatsword does look really cool. Get desynthed. So then 98, so I can actually go into the Sky Deep Cenote now. I don't know how Alpha don't go to 97. Oh, I think I maxed out Gunbreaker and then had to switch. I think that's how. I need to swap one of the DPS for Y'shtola. Wait, Alizé? Y'shtola?
Victory will be ours.
This isn't ideal, because ideally I'd have a class that's closer in level to them, but I don't think I do. Yeah, I think what happened was I leveled Reaper to 100 in another way, and so I've run out of classes I can use for this. But I want to get my healers up, so I don't have to carry around multiple sets of healer gear. Because I still got Credendum stuff. And the Mandeville stick. Use YOLO the healers? Yeah. I'm just trying to get my trusts up to 100 so I can have the cute outfits. Wait, no, I want
Victory will be ours.
so I can put them in swimsuits. They do have easy cues, but I want swimsuits. Mushroom risotto required? Oh, hells yeah! I hope it's delicious. This Sky Deep Horror. That genuinely does sound pretty delicious. I hope it's tasty. Oh, I was running into a wall. I feel like I was going to talk about something, and I just don't remember what it was. Mushroom risotto, pecorino rather than parmesan, pan-fried zucchini and carrot, goated cherry tomatoes. That sounds really good, actually. That sounds really good. Raha, get benedictions. Oh, yeah. No. It's all good. It's all good. We were saying healer stuff. This isn't what I was going to talk about, but it's a thing. The poll on one anime we're watching in the Discord came through. We got a 3-way tie, so I plugged the numbers into random.org to pick for us. Combat Culinarian, I would love that. Frying pan weapon, are you kidding me? That would rule. I'd come back for this? Yeah, exactly. But yeah, we're gonna be starting the second season of Symphogear on Friday, which I'm excited about. We had a 3-way tie between that. Have to be a ladle. Oh, you're right. That would rule. I actually have my D&D character uses a ladle as her primary weapon. It's a spellcasting focus. I love her, she's amazing. Wait, you could totally do like a caster with a ladle. That would rule! Wait, that would slap so hard! Yeah, my D&D character uses a ladle. She, she's great. I love her. Wow, my brain is not together today. Graha, can you stop dying, please? Yeah, we're going to be watching Symphogear Season 2 in the Discord. So if you want to join us and you haven't seen Season 1, I highly recommend it. It's a very, very fun show. And I've been trying to get people, to convince people to watch Symphogear for the longest time. I keep trying to convince people to watch it. Yeah, we had a 3-way tie between that, Do It Yourself, and what was the other one? Flip Flappers, I think. But I rolled it in random.org, so we're going for Symphogear. That's how it's done, I remember now. You watched episode 1 of Dandadan yesterday? Like episode 1 of the first season? Dandadan is really good. Episode 1 is just really strange. And it goes places I would rather it didn't, honestly. But it is very, very good. And it, fortunately, does not really go back to that particularly. Which helps it a lot, I think. I still need to watch Season 2 of Down to Dan, actually. I haven't got around to it yet. I've been wanting to watch Season 2 of Down to Dan. I need to watch Season 2 of Panty and Stocking. I need to watch City the Animation. Alright, don't sound that. Oh, yeah, yeah. Fortunately, Down to Dan gets more normal in that respect. Like, it's still weird as heck, but it gets more normal about that kind of thing. Let's watch stuff? Heck yeah. I'm just excited I get to share Symphogear Season 2, because, like, Symphogear Season 1 is very good, but it's also the worst that show gets. It's one of the rare cases where the first season is really solid and really good, but it's also... it just gets better. Me and Mara fell in love with Mushoku Tensei. I forget which one that is. Afflatus Misery, idiot. There's not been many shows where I've been like, I desperately need more of this right now, so I'm gonna read the manga or the light novel. One of them was New Game. I rewatched it fairly recently and then read the rest of the story in the manga because I don't think it's ever getting more. Which is a shame because it gets pretty gay towards the end. I've been told that's the case for Wadamote too, which got like oh, Jobless Reincarnation. Okay, I've heard good stuff about that. Come on, there we go. Mingra! Come save me from the creatures I angered. Thanks. Thanks, Bessie. Healing you twice? Yeah, I've not been watching a ton lately, actually. I go through, like, phases when it comes to anime. If you're allergic to Mushoku Tensei, but you know it's good, sometimes the show is just like that, right? You just don't want to watch it. For whatever reason, even if you know it's good. You thought it was going to be smutty trash, but it shook to find it was actually good? So, like, there's a few shows that are kind of like that I've, like, had the impression from either the title or just the promo material that it was going to be a mess, and then it's turned out to be really, really solid. I think one of my favorites is, of that example of that, is a show called Bodacious Space Pirates, which sounds like it's going to be just complete smut. But it's actually really fun and really gay.
Hold still.
Like, it's basically about this girl who's like, I don't remember exactly the premise, but it's like this girl basically inherits a pirate crew, and so has to learn to be a space pirate. It's great. I'm pretty sure I have that on Blu-ray. Let me check. Where would it be? Yeah, there it is. Yeah, I have the Blu-rays of that. It's really good. Like, it's not the best show ever made, but it's really solid and a lot of fun. I've seen a lot of shows over the years, but I didn't tend to go in like phases with them. Like there's like periods of a few months where I watched like a ton of anime, right? I watched like 7 or 8 shows back to back, and then there's other points where I just don't watch anything at all because I'm just not in the mood, and I think that's fine. Ultimately, like sometimes I'm just not in the mood for it. I've gone through a period like that recently, actually, where I've just not really wanted to watch much. And it's not because there's nothing to watch, I just don't really feel like watching anything. And then lately I've started wanting to watch more again. Just gotta get time now. Because at the moment all of my free time has been taken up with Sonic Crossworlds. There's some stuff around that you think I'd like? Yeah, I'm sure there is. There's a lot on my list of anime to watch is like 50 shows long. It's really long. Last few weeks was Silksong. Yeah, honestly, I'm a lot less hyped about Silksong now I've played it a little bit. Like, I've still got a lot more to do in it, but I'm much less hyped for it than I thought I would be. I think just because, like, the difficulty is a little too high for me. So it's, like, it's tempering the fun a little bit. Like, I'm still intending to go through it. So my plan for tomorrow, for the Silksong stream, is I am going to continue with Silksong as it is. We'll see how things go. If I get too frustrated, I will probably just pivot to Sonic Crossworlds. And then, if that does happen, and I start having more problems with it again, I'm gonna consider a couple of mods for it. One of which might be the no 2-hit mod. That's not really what's bothering me. I think the other mod I was thinking of is actually a mod that I found called Get Down Here. Which is a mod that unsets a flag in the game. Because on every flying enemy, to try and stay above Hornet. Basically, that every flying enemy tries to stay above Hornet at all times. And there's a mod that just disables that behavior, so they can fly towards you and below you, which makes them significantly easier to fight, as I understand it. And I want to try with that one. If I'm still having problems, I might try with that one. Right, we'll be like, yeah, he's fine. Oh, no, he is not fine. Ow. You see that really helping with a few enemies? Yeah, and that's the thing. The reason I'm hesitant on the no 2-hit mod is that the enemies are really the problem for me, right? The bosses are fine. I'm having a ton of fun with the bosses. They're hard as nails, but I'm loving them. It's just that the random enemies that I'm encountering are the real problem. Steel Soul scares me, but you made the profile now. I will attempt to. I'm not attempting a Steel Soul run on for Silksong. I'm never doing it. I haven't even tried it to put on base Hollow Knight, but there I'm like, I might, maybe, but I'm not doing it on Silksong. It's just not worth it. Oh wait, I don't want to be there. There's a Steel Soul exclusive boss? What? That's such a weird decision. Do it with mods to make backups? Yeah, I might do the same actually. If there's a Steel Soul exclusive boss, then I might do that. Wait, I don't think I've been to Bone Grave, wherever that is, so, I don't know where that would be. Unless you mean, like, Bone Bottom. You thought you had a thing from there? I don't know. Maybe I do? I don't know what you mean. Maybe I do. I don't know. I don't know. Yeah, please don't elaborate just in case. I can check tomorrow. Oh, okay, no, that's what that is. Okay, no, I know what that is. Yeah. No, it's all good, If it's that place, that's fine. Like, you definitely know I do have a thing from there, so, like, you can clarify that that's okay. Yeah, okay, that's fine. Actually, Graha? You coming, buddy? I think he's just gonna die. Oh, there's no one else up here, I forgot. Oh, a Steel Soul Path opens up? Interesting. But yeah, originally, when the game first launched, I was thinking, like, I can't wait for the randomizer to come out, because I really want to... Like, I love randomizers, and this is going to be such a good randomizer game. I no longer think that. I no longer really want to do a randomizer of Silksong. Because it just... It just feels like it's a little too much for it. Yeah, I'm planning to go back to Hollow Knight 1, maybe even for Steel Soul. Yeah, Silksong frustrates me, I think, because it's a real case study. It's a perfect case study for why you desperately need people outside of your main team testing your games. You need, like... You desperately need people who are not familiar with your game to test it. And Silksong is a great example of that. Because I did look into it a bit and check the credits and things, and it turns out I was completely correct. There are no external testers in Silksong. And I think that was a big mistake of them. There's a reason that external testing is done. And it's a good reason. It'd have been a challenge keeping in touch with the external testing with the anti-indie. Yeah, but like, other games do it all the time. Even indie games. Yeah, MS Paint has a randomizer somehow. I don't really understand how that one works, but it does. Yeah, the thing is, like, the thing that I call creator bias is a thing I've experienced a lot with, like, amateur game development. Because a lot of people, when they first get into making games, even if they're very, very engaged with it, and they're really, like, studying on how to make good content, and a lot of amateur game development is absolutely incredible, and there's some incredible stuff made by very talented people. But one of the core difficulties to struggle with when you're working as an independent amateur game developer is what I call creator bias, which is the idea that if you're spending 3 months working on a thing, and you are... And you spend like... And you've got like pretty solid at it, you're gonna have so much more experience and practice at that thing, and not just that, you're going to know the optimal strategies for dealing with it because you've designed it that way. And yeah, it's similar to making a puzzle in an RPG, like a tabletop RPG. If you think it's hard, it's actually impossible. It's a common like meme that if you are making a puzzle for a tabletop RPG, you grab something out of like a children's puzzle book. There's a reason why so many mandatory puzzling games are the same few things? Absolutely. Because it turns out, unless your game is about the puzzle challenge, that's not the point, if you see what I mean. So your expected level of skill has to be lower. But even then, even if it is part of the point, you have to understand that people are coming to this with no prior knowledge. And that's not always something that's easy to test. Like, there's a story I heard from game development. I forget what studio it was or like where it came from. But it was from like an RPG studio, and someone was brought in to test it. And that... Oh, I'm gonna get hit by that. Oh, I'm gonna fall off and die. Okay, well that sucks. I guess we're starting over. Yeah, I was not paying attention. They had a whole, like, they brought some testers in to test their new RPG, and the testers could not work out how to open the inventory. Because the answer for how to open the inventory was to triple-click the player. But no one on the team thought that was weird, because they'd all been familiar with it for months. So it was just natural to them. Of course you triple-click the player to open the inventory, that's just what you do. But if you don't have that seeded in for that, you're not gonna know that, and it's not gonna make any sense. But this is kind of what I mean. It's like, it's an extreme example, but that's kind of the idea, is that it's the same thing. Oh, I'm dying. I'm dying. It's the same idea. It's that you just don't have the preceded experience to make this function. NPCs PvPing me with AoEs? Yeah, they do that. There's an insect getting very upset with me right now. And I don't like it. There we go, I didn't get killed this time. It's part of the reason a lot of games have an hour or two tutorials at the beginning. It is! But that is also down to another problem, which is that that doesn't actually solve the issue. Because it turns out people don't like soak in information very well if it's front-loaded. So it doesn't actually solve the issue either. It's not that people don't read, it's that front-loaded information is Yeah. I learned of a cheese with a single boss spies in Silksong recently. That's neat. I found I think one cheese. You just want to get going instead of reading all the info? Yeah, like, that's the thing. You are far better off teaching people with like bare minimum information text box stuff, and then giving them the ability to like learn bits and pieces as they play, because they're gonna learn more. Hey, Butts! Welcome in, Mooney. The boss pushes you out of bounds, you set it up right, and you just get out the other side of the arena, cheese? That's hilarious. Things are happening here? Yeah, we're playing some FF14 while I yap about Silksong and game design. And why the way Silksong handled its game testing is kind of bad, actually. And the overwhelmingly difficult levels of overwhelmingly high levels of difficulty are a function of their lack of testing. Yay! Killed it. Minion? Nope, no minion, but I got a lamp. A card? I have that card. Lamp. Yeah, just game design is a thing I've been dabbling with, shall we say, for a very long time. I made my first game when I was like 11? 9? Something like that. My first game was made in Microsoft PowerPoint. But I very quickly moved on to like Flash, so I made a lot of Flash games. I still meet people who find out that who have like nostalgia for a game I made when I was like 12. Not 12, I was like 14, 15. Me and a friend of mine, one of my oldest friends, made a fan game in Flash many years ago. You gonna head out and become a helldiver for it? No worries, thanks for stopping by. Have fun helldiving. Yeah, me and one of my oldest friends made a fan game a very long time ago, which in Flash, which kind of went viral. It got spread around a lot of you know how it was back in the day when like there were like the million different free Flash games websites where they just cribbed Newgrounds and just grabbed stuff off there and just re-uploaded them. It got re-uploaded to like all of those sites. It was a lot of people's first introduction to Crash Bandicoot. It was a Crash Bandicoot fan game, which was just called Crash Bandicoot Flash. And it had like 5 levels, and a boss. We helped plan to make like a whole game out of it, like a whole 25, 30 level thing with 5 bosses kind of thing. Congrats on finishing all your Gatherer relics. But yeah, it was a lot of people's first introduction to Crash Bandicoot, and I still meet people who are like, oh, I played that when I was a kid, and I'm just like, I made that when I was a kid. Like, it wasn't mostly me, most of the actual, like, programming was done by my buddy. And I think I made like 2 of the levels and the boss. Yeah, I made 2 levels and the boss. And he made the other 3 levels. But it was a lot of fun. I had a good time with that, making that. And I kind of missed the days of like making stuff with Flash. But I kind of started dabbling in other stuff. I did work for some AAA studios at some point. I worked on Lego Sonic at one point. That was fun. It wasn't fun. It actually completely... It completely wrecked me. It was not good for my health. I like the fact that I worked on Lego Sonic. I do not like the fact of working on Lego Sonic. It wrecked my health. Yeah, the game industry is very rough, especially if you are disabled in any way. But I did do some programming for that, and I did work as a professional level designer for a little bit. I did have to Lego Sonic. Yeah, if you ever play Lego Sonic as part of the Lego Dimensions pack, and you play those little like special stages between the levels, that was me, baby! I made those! I programmed those. Yeah, I programmed those. I didn't design them. I did actually have to design one of them because the designer had to take a day off at on the last second, and then you can still play that on Wii U right now. Heck yeah! I will say the Wii U dev kit, absolute nightmare. Absolute nightmare of a thing, the Wii U dev kit. But yeah, I did some work on Lego Sonic, and I programmed the special stages for Lego Dimensions, for Lego Sonic Dimensions or whatever it is. Lego Dimensions was pretty fun. Mooney's cool. Mooney's cool. But yeah, I've done a bit of stuff in game development over the years. I've worked in indie dev. Didn't get super far with it because we ran out of money. I've worked in some AAA stuff. I've done a bit of game dev, so like, my point being is that I've had a lot of time and a lot of experience to know when a mistake happens and like why things are done the way they are, and it feels like Team Cherry did mess up a little with the way they did their testing in Silksong. And it's a shame because like the game's real good, but it is let down by the fact it wasn't tested properly. Because like an internal team of testers, if you have good testers, can do a fantastic job of finding and squashing bugs. That is a thing an internal team of testers is great for. Because these are people who are very familiar with the systems, who can find the likely breaking points, and if they're experienced and good, they are good at what they do. They can absolutely push things to the limit. And that's great. That's a great way to squash bugs. What it's not good for is balance testing. In fact, that exact skill set that makes them really good for bug testing makes it terrible for balance testing. Show me testers so I can show off a capable could beat the game by throwing stuff at everything. You're in the camp that the game is fun and not that bad minus one boss, but I can see how it's annoying and not catering to others. Yeah, it's just a case of, like, it's not even a case of it being too hard, necessarily. It's a case of the difficulty being wildly inconsistent. Bug testing, yeah, there's tons. And the reason I immediately, like, when I started having difficulty with Silksong, like, having trouble with Silksong's difficulty, my immediate... Pink Flash, hello? My immediate response was, this was not tested properly. And I didn't even have to look it up to know that. Because the hallmark of that is not it's across the board incredibly difficult. It's that the difficulty is wildly inconsistent. The tree clipped on your screen for some pink flash, yeah. And that's... It's a whole thing. I have a lot of thoughts about Silksong so far, and like... I know others have been struggling with the bosses a lot more than I have. And I feel like... My hope is that Silksong can kind of change the conversation about game difficulty a little bit. Because the difficulty of the conversation about game difficulty has been stuck in a rut thanks to the whole Dark Souls mentality, which is like, if the game is hard, that's the developer's intent, just get good, right? But there's a couple of reasons that I think Silksong could potentially change the conversation on that. First of all, this was not a function of the developers wanting to make the hardest game possible, and they've qualified that in interviews. They have not been trying to make an overtly hard game. They just did it wrong, right? And secondly, a lot of the people who... The boss you hate will be very Miyazaki approved. Like, it's not that the game isn't inspired by Dark Souls. And I mean, I have some arguments about Dark Souls difficulty, which, I actually think it more needs accessibility options than difficulty settings, but that's a whole different conversation. The thing is, first of all, it's very clear that Team Cherry were not trying to make a really, really hard game. They were just very familiar with it and overtuned it. Secondly, a lot of the people who have historically been going, get good, are struggling with Silksong. And starting to see like this, and starting to be like, oh, this is actually too hard. I want to play this game and I want to beat it, but it's too hard. And starting to get the other side of the argument as to like, where people are coming from when they say, I want to play Elden Ring, but I can't beat it. It's too hard. And instead of saying, get good, people are actually going... Yeah, it's like, get good is sound advice only if you explain how. Yes, but there's also the element of, like, physical and mental disability, right? That makes that more difficult. Like, the benefit of accessibility options is not that people can make the game easy. That's not the point. The point is not to make the game easy. Like, Dark Souls is hard because it's reflecting part of the game's, like, narrative in a way. Like, it's what's the term I've heard used? Ludonarrative harmony, that's the one. The game is hard because it reinforces the game's narrative, right? And the same is true of Silksong and Hollow Knight. The reason those games are so hard is because the narrative puts you in a situation where that is reinforcing, like, that's being reinforced by that. At the same time, the point of accessibility options is not to make the games easy. It's to make them... It's to put the difficulty on even footing for people whose abilities are less tuned towards being able to handle that. Like, I don't understand, personally, how the Get Good debate was not ended once and for all when Celeste was released. I don't understand it. Because Celeste is an incredibly difficult game. It's an incredibly hard game. And in the same way, it's an incredibly hard game for a reason. It's a hard game to reinforce the narrative. Because the narrative is the struggle, right? The whole point of Celeste is the struggle to climb the mountain. And so the game being difficult reinforces that. And nobody will sit there and say Celeste is a trivially easy game. It's a tough game. It might be able to handle it and play the game super well, but it's a tough game. And yet, Celeste has a ton of accessibility options. And yet, people will still, like, talk about their achievements in that game. They will still say, hey, I managed to do the B-sides. It's like, great, awesome, nice job. And nobody asks if they use the assist modes. Because it doesn't matter. That's not the point. I say there's a lot of difference between a hard challenge that feels achievable versus a hard challenge that's annoying. You have far more patience for a goal you can see than a goal you can't. Yes. The way I've heard that described in game design circles is that there's a difference between difficulty and punishment. So a game that is hard is not the same thing as a game that is punishing. Something like Celeste, it is very, very hard, but it's not very punishing. And part of the reason for that is one of the ways to reduce punishment in a game is reducing what's called the iteration time. And the iteration time is the time between attempts at a thing you failed at. That's correct. The Souls games are not hard. They are punishing. They are not hard. They punish failure very, very very, very intensely, but they're not actually very difficult games in their own right. Now, that doesn't mean you can't struggle with them, because again, accessibility is a different matter, and this is why I was saying that I think the Souls games use accessibility options more than difficulty options. Difficulty options wouldn't really solve the problem. What they need is accessibility options to let the people who are unable to really engage with the game as it's intended to engage with the game as it's intended, right? But yeah, like the main, and like a good example of that, actually, I was about to bring those up, is the iteration time, which is the idea that when you fail at a challenge, how long does it take before you get to try again? And in something like Celeste, or like Super Meat Boy, or I Want to Be the Guy, it's very, very short. You have very, very quick respawns. Like, you have a short death animation, and then you are back in the game going again. And your respawn point is no more than a screen wide. It's like, it's a few seconds gameplay at most. Which means you can practice and practice and practice and practice and practice and practice and practice until you get it. And that might be a little frustrating at times, because iteration time is not the only thing that keeps a game from feeling punishing. And that there is more nuance to this. But iteration time's a massive help in reducing that frustration, because you get to practice again. Something like Dark Souls has a very long iteration time, which is what the whole boss runbacks are about. That's intentionally there to give you a long iteration time. And there are benefits to that. There are reasons they do that. And that's partly because a lot of the difficulty in Dark Souls and things like that is actually having the resources by the time you reach the boss door. So the challenge is not necessarily the boss itself. It's making sure you've got your full kit by the time you get there, which is why the runbacks are important. What else was it that I was going to say? Something like FF14. Savage rates. Incredibly long. You could have 10 to 11 minute iteration times. That's ridiculous. That's a massive amount of iteration time for when you fail at a mechanic. But these games are also really, really fun to do that with, because it's a different kind of challenge, right? What really causes real frustration, and this I think where Silksong falls down, is very precise requirements for execution for an extended period of time with a very long iteration time. Which means very, very small mistakes are punished very, very harshly. And Silksong is a particularly nasty case of that, and that's why the 2-hit damage feels so bad. Right? Because you have very little way to recover from mistakes, because of how much it takes to get a heal. And while it is, like, there are more... that you have long boss runbacks, the game requires very precise positioning. Especially if you're using one of the crests with a diagonal downstab. It requires a lot of execution precision with a long iteration time, and that leads to frustration. There are other things that can lead to frustration as well. It's not just that. But, like, there's a lot of nuance to it. Like, I don't mind the 2-hit damage that enemies do, either. But it's in combination with a bunch of other problems that makes the 2-hit damage that enemies do exacerbate the existing issues, is kind of the thing. Because taking damage is not necessarily the punishment, right? Taking 2 hits of damage is fine. I accept the fact that Lodge equals 2 masks, yes. However, there are small enemies in Silksong that do 2 masks. There are smaller enemies that will combo you for 2 masks because you have low iframe values. It is much harder in the first game to actually get the stuff involved to heal, because the enemies are a lot smarter and a lot more complicated than they were in the first game, so actually attacking them repeatedly is much more risky. There are very few enemies that are low risk to attack for free silk. There's a lot of reasons that add up to having problems with things like this. That's my experience with it. Longer range attacks, sure, but like you never get particularly long range attacks. Even if I do switch my my mark over. I don't know, like, game difficulty is a really complicated topic. It's a really complicated topic. There's a lot that goes into it, and it's not just as simple as give people difficulty options. Because difficulty options have their own problems. Let me. I know the Wanderer one specifically has shorter range. I get that. I want to actually go into this as to why difficulty options are kind of not the be-all and end-all, and where the problems they lie with. First of all, when you first start up a game and you're presented with a difficulty option, what do you pick? Because most people are going to just pick normal, regardless of the game. But what normal mode for a game is, some people are going to pick hard, sure. Almost no one is going to pick easy. And almost no one is going to pick the hardest difficulty, like the super hard mode. Some people are going to pick hard, some people are going to pick normal. Maybe a few people will pick easy. But the fact of the matter is, what that means is unique to each individual game. Well, okay, you're just weird, though. You're the outlier. The fact is, like, what that actually means in terms of gameplay is completely different for every game. So what does that actually mean? The other thing is, like, this is a thing that I think that's been studied quite extensively. When people are struggling to progress in a game because of their skill level is mismatched to the difficulty that they've selected, they are significantly more likely to just drop the game entirely than go into the settings and lower the difficulty. The stigma behind easy is present. That's also a problem. And this is why I think it was very smart for Celeste to present what are fundamentally granular difficulty options as an assist mode. Present it as a mode option that allows you to, like, granularly adjust your experience. And I think that's going to be a much better way of approaching it. And there's a lot of stuff that's like accessibility options that people don't think of as accessibility options. Like, things like subtitles. Things like controller remapping. Like, I can't play some Souls games on console without some modifications. Like, I haven't played Bloodborne. Not because I don't want to, but because my brain does not work with the idea of using triggers to attack. I can't do it. I don't like it. My brain doesn't function. It means that my reaction time is significantly slower anytime I'm having to use triggers to attack. It doesn't matter how long I play the game for. I've tried. And it's too slow to function in a game like Bloodborne. So for things like Dark Souls 3 and Elden Ring, I remapped the controls so I could use my face buttons for attacking. And I can't do that in Bloodborne because it doesn't have controller remapping. Now, I do intend at some point to look through the like console settings and try and remap it there and see if that will work. But I don't know. I'll have to see. I realize I've just like not... I've spent most of this stream so far just kind of sitting here yapping rather than actually playing FF14. Played a little bit, but I've mostly just been yapping, and honestly I've been having more fun yapping than I have been playing FF14 right now. Very sleepy. I might call it early. I'm very sleepy. I know it's been a short one, but I think I'm going to go back to my chatting screen. I know it's been a very short one today, but I'm very sleepy. Thank you for the hydratorate. I have a glass of water here and I'm going to drink it. Yay, pets! Thank you for the pets. Whoa, I really do need to drink something. I'm getting dizzy. Mooney. Mooney, why? Alright. 10 push-ups. Let's go. Wait, not 10. It's 5. 5 push-ups. I'm not doing 10. I'm not doing 10! Ah! Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It'll make sure you sleep well? Maybe. I don't know, maybe. Okay, I will also unshrimp now I'm sitting down. Thanks for joining me today, everybody. I know it's been a shorter one, but I'm very sleepy. And thanks for the pets. And I know most of this has been yapping about Silksong and stuff. But you know what? You know what? I've been enjoying just yapping. I like that, like, FF14 is pretty chill, and I like just kind of hanging out and yapping. But for now, I'm gonna find a lovely somebody to raid into. Let's see who's live. You want to do 5 because you're still at work? Fair. Oh, you know what? That might be it. Okay, I got... You know what? That should be fun. That should be really fun. Let's go drop a bomb on Scott. Scott's playing Castle Crashes with a bunch of lovely folks. A bunch of lovely cat girls. Your noodle arms did not like that. Yeah, now you know how I feel. Alright, we're gonna drop a raid on Scott. I'm not gonna bother with a raid message. Thanks for joining me, everybody. I do need more push-ups, you're right. Tomorrow I'm going to be playing some more Silksong. If I get too ragey, I'll just switch to Sonic Crossworlds or something. And then reevaluate what we do with Silksong. Yeah, I'm going to still be trying it. On Friday, we're starting Symphogear Season 2 in the Discord. Silksong Crossworlds, yeah. If you want to join us for Symphogear, and I highly recommend you do, because it's a heckin' good show, you got until Friday to catch up. Because we're starting on Season 2. It's only 12 episodes, so it's not too bad. 13 episodes. So it's not too much to catch up on, hopefully, if anyone wants to. But I highly recommend you do, because it's great. But thank you for joining me, everybody. I will see you all tomorrow. I'm going to get myself some food and maybe I'll lie down a little bit. Go say hi to Scott. Be nice. Scott is very lovely. As is all the other lovely cat girls he's playing with. So, just Penny, Yanni, and Dandy, I think. So I will see you all later. Goodbye.